Hey everybody, welcome to Torah Tech Tips. My name is David Peskin, your Torah Tech guy, and I am here to give you great tech for your great Torah. So if I sound a little different today, that's because I'm on a different microphone, and that's so that I can move around a little more, because today we're going to talk about building a Torah Tech ecosystem. I forgot to run the intro video. I have a new intro video. You want to see it? I think it's good. All right, let's check it out. All right, now we can start. Now I'm David. All right, so here's the plan. The plan is I've been thinking a lot about what is the one, a lot of people ask, like what's the one piece of tech that you just couldn't live without? What's the one thing that really makes everything work? And I really spent a lot of time thinking about this. And what I've decided is that there is no one piece of tech. There is no one gadget. There is no one tool, whether it's software or hardware that I use that just without it, everything would fall apart. Instead, it's an ecosystem. And so when I have to do something somewhere else outside of my ecosystem, it's difficult. It's a struggle for me because I've put together the hardware and the software that I need to be successful in whatever I'm doing. So what I wanted to do today is sort of give you a tour of what I use and how I use it and why I use it. And I'm going to follow the hierarchy of tech. So I did a video a while back about the hierarchy of like what's most important. The most important thing is connectivity, and then audio, and so on, then lighting, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go through, there are 5 stages. There's connectivity, audio, lighting, video, and background. We're going to go through those 5, and I'm going to show you what I'm using. Now, the goal of this is not to say, ooh, look at all the toys he has. That is absolutely not the goal. The goal of this is to think about what do you want in your ecosystem? What would be most helpful to you when you're sharing your Torah, whether it's in an office or a sanctuary or a library or wherever you are. So let's dive into it. So the first thing that I have that is absolutely indispensable is my desk. I got one of those sit-stand height-adjustable desks. It's a Desk Work Pro. It's a 60-inch wide electric height-adjustable standing desk. I got it at Office Max, 2 years ago, and it's really fantastic. And one of the things you'll see as I take you through this is that I have everything attached to the desk. So when it goes up, everything, the lights, the cameras, the microphones, everything goes up with it, and when it goes down, everything goes down. So I've talked a lot about how important it is to show energy when you're sharing Torah, when you're teaching, especially in digital space. And for me, a big piece of that is being able to stand up. So right now I'm standing and I can move around and I can engage with people. And then when I'm just in a boring meeting and I don't really need to be engaging, I can sit down and have that also. So this is the desk here. You can see I've got these little automatic, I can actually set it for what is the standing height, what's the sitting height, and I can just adjust it independently also, and I have 2 other settings if I want to. So that's the desk. It's really sturdy, really strong. If I had thought ahead of time, the desk has a curve in the middle, a kind of a cutout for my big fat tummy. I wouldn't have gotten that. I would have gotten a straight edge desk. It also has a little bevel on it, but having said that, it does the job. So I use 2 computers when I'm sharing Torah. The first computer I use is my MacBook Pro right over there, and this is my streaming computer. This is the computer that is sending the signal out. So I'm only using Ecamm on here. If I'm in Zoom, I use Zoom on here. That's pretty much it. My other computer over here is a Mac Mini. It's hiding back there. That's my Mac Mini down there. Both of these are M1 Mac Minis, and this is basically my content computer. So if I'm sharing a spreadsheet or a doc or a keynote or anything like that, that all lives on this computer. And the reason I separate the two is because Streaming video is really CPU intensive. It takes a lot out of your computer. And so the more stuff that you can get off of your streaming computer, the better you are. So if you've got an old computer lying around that you can use as a content computer, fantastic, that works. Let's talk about monitors. I've gone a little bit overboard on the monitors, but you can never have too many monitors. So here's how this works. This computer here, my MacBook Pro, is hooked up to 2 external monitors. This is the regular old monitor. I've got this monitor here, which is I think just a 27-inch whatever monitor. And then I've got this monitor up here, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Then my Mac Mini is hooked up to this monitor here and this little monitor up here, which honestly I probably don't really need, but I have it there. So here's how I lay this out. The way I lay this out is I use my software that I'm switching on is right here, coming off of my MacBook Pro. My main content is here. If I'm in a Zoom meeting, that lives up there and that monitor. And if I'm doing a PowerPoint or a keynote presentation, my presentation's down here and my notes go up there so that I can peek at them from my camera without really interrupting the flow of what I'm sharing. As for a keyboard and a mouse, I've just got the Logitech keyboard, the what's it called, the MX3 mouse. But here's the cool thing. So this app has been out for a while. I tried it a while back. It didn't work for me. I use an app called Synergy. And what's amazing about Synergy is that Synergy creates one computer, makes one computer a host computer, and makes the other computer I don't know what they call it. What's it called when you're not the host? A whatever. And so then the mouse, when my mouse and key, it allows me to move my mouse from one computer to the other seamlessly. So, and then when my mouse is on one computer, my keyboard works on that computer. When my mouse is on the other computer, my keyboard works on that computer. Even though I have 2 computers, I don't have to have 2 separate sets of things. So I'll just show you, here's my mouse over here right now. This is my Mac Mini, and I can just move it right over, and now it's on my MacBook Pro. And if I just type on either one of those, it just works. It's actually sort of life-changing. It wasn't working at first for me when I tried it a couple months ago, but now I did. And that's called Synergy. I also have a Magic Trackpad, one of those Apple Magic Trackpads here. And really the only reason I use that is it's really easy to zoom in and out on pages. You can just pinch to zoom on pages. So if I wanted to show, if I want to zoom in on something on a website that I'm showing, then I can use that to pinch and zoom. All right, how do I get everything connected to these computers, including Ethernet and everything else? I have 3 different, what are they called? Docks, all right? One, I could show this to you, but it's not very exciting to look at. One is called the CalDigit TS3, that's back there, that's the CalDigit back there. On top of that, I've got the CalDigit Element Hub. And then over here, I've got an Anchor dock. This is or I guess they call it the Anchor Hub. I do have a 4th one called the OWC Thunderbolt dock. Sorry, I was just out of focus. That's what I use when I'm traveling, when I'm on site somewhere. Rabbi Novak, I thought you couldn't connect 2 computers. You can, but Synergy doesn't connect 2 computers. That program that I use to move my mouse from one to the other, Synergy doesn't, I guess it's connecting them, but they're not, other than being able to move my mouse and use the same mouse on both computers, they're not really connected. I do connect my content computer to my streaming computer, and I'll show you how in just a moment. But back to these docks. So this is basically, these are how I get all the millions of USB things that I've got into my MacBooks, into my MacBook and my MacBook Pro and my Mac Mini there. So I use the CalDigit TS3. That was the first one I got. The Element Hub is really nice. It's got, I think it's 4 USB-C ports and 4 USB-A ports. It doesn't have any of the other stuff. That's what the CalDigit is. The CalDigit TS3 is for. And this Anchor Hub that I use with my Mac Mini, honestly, I've had really poor results with it. So it's not all that vital, but I have it, so I put it here if I need to plug extra stuff into it. All right, you've heard me talk about Stream Decks. This is sort of how I control everything. So I've got my Stream Decks here. I've got 3 of them. So this is one of the XLs. This is the other XL over here. And then I've got the regular size guy right here. So the way I have these set up is this is my sort of my video one. So this is where I can switch scenes or bring up graphics, things like that. This is my audio one, where I've got my sound effects, my music, and this is my sort of Zoom one. And I also set it up so that my lights, my studio lights, turn on and off. I can just press a button here. But if I'm in Zoom, I want to change Zoom speaker grid. If I want to bring up chat, anything like that, I use this. I don't think that you don't really need all of these Stream Decks. The reason I have them is that I'm a lot OCD. I like things to be very organized, and I want to know exactly where everything is. I don't want to have to flip pages on a Stream Deck. You can have multiple pages on a Stream Deck. I want everything to be there. So, when I'm doing this show, I've got every button that I could conceivably need of right here on this page, and I don't have to worry about it. All right, 2 more things about computers and connectivity. I use what's called a page flip Firefly. If I'm doing a presentation or something, I might use this. This is actually the Dragonfly, but it's the same idea. Page flip Firefly or Dragonfly. It's a USB. It's a Bluetooth foot pedal, which allows you to advance slides, move backward and forward. So if I'm playing guitar and doing a lot of stuff, it's helpful to be able to advance slides in my visual tefillah using that. And the last thing I want to show you is how I use my I'm not going to show you how. That's actually for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm doing a video on how I do this. But I have an iPad here that I have hooked up, just plugged it in USB-C to my MacBook Pro. And I just have Keynote open with a green screen on it. When I take my Apple Pencil here, if I draw on it like that, and then if I turn on my overlay, you can see that it shows up on my screen. This is called a telestrator. So I'm going to show everyone how to do that tomorrow. It's not a heavy lift, really. If you've got an iPad, if you've got an Apple computer, it's not a heavy lift. And it's really kind of impressive, right? So here it is with me. I could draw a happy face. I can write if I'm teaching a specific word. If I'm doing a lesson on love, ahava, you get the idea. Okay, let's move on. So we talked about computers, connectivity. Of course, all of this is plugged into Ethernet. Ethernet, no Wi-Fi. All right, next let's talk about audio. So when I'm usually doing my shtick, I use this microphone. This is called a Heil PR40, and it's a fantastic microphone. It's really, really good. I fought for a long time about having my mic in the scene, in the camera shot, and once I heard the difference of having my voice right there, there's no going back. So I use this Heil PR40, and I have that going into what's called a Flow 8. This is a Behringer Flow 8. It's a little tiny USB mixer, which is actually incredibly powerful. And I'm not going to go into how I have this all set up because honestly, I don't understand it. I had someone help me. This on top is just an old Android tablet that I had lying around, and it connects via Bluetooth so that you can have both the physical faders and digital faders. So you can set up different scenes in here. You can see I've got different mixer snapshots for different shows that I do. I'll be honest with you, this for me has been kind of a set it and forget it kind of device, but it's really, really powerful. So the Heil PR40, my mic is going into the Flow 8. I also have this computer going into the Flow 8. I also have this computer going into the Flow 8. Everything is flowing through here. This is my main audio. And then I have the audio coming out of here into 3 different places. I have it coming so you can hear it, right, into whatever production I'm doing. I have it so I can hear it, and these are the little in-ear monitors that I use. These are called MEE Audio M6. I got them on Amazon. They're $40 or something. They're just little earbuds. I love these. These are fantastic because they're very low profile. You really can't see them. So I have audio going into my computers. I've got audio coming into my ears, and I have an old Bose speaker that someone gave me like 15, 16 years ago. It's a really nice speaker. I have that on my desk so that if I'm, watching a YouTube video or participating in a webinar where I'm not on camera and I don't have to speak or anything, and I don't have to worry about echo or feedback, I can route the audio to that speaker. So I've got the high LPR 40 mic, really nice quality mic, like John Madden. What, like John Madden, Rabbi Novak? Does he use these? I don't know. I'm not a sports guy. Sorry. So I got the high LPR 40 going into my Behringer Flow 8, which takes all the audio, everything, and pumps it back out to those 3 destinations. I'm also using an app called Loopback, which is an application on my Mac, which allows me to digitally route audio to different places. So, for example, if I'm in a Zoom meeting, I can have the audio going into my Flow 8 and have it go into my ears so that I can hear everyone, but not have it flow back into the meeting. That's called a mix minus. Drawing stuff on the screen. Yeah, sorry. Yes. All right, so I've got that. This is something I got, what was it, like a month ago, maybe? This is called a low-profile mic boom. I used to have one that went over top. This is a low-profile one. This is from Elgato, and I really like it a lot. First of all, you can move it anywhere you want, so when I'm not using it, I just push it out of the way here. I just have it clamped onto my desk. But what's nice about it is that it's low profile. It kind of keeps the arm out of everything, and especially out of my shot, so that even if I'm using this mic, even if I were to pick it up a little bit, so it's closer, you're really just seeing the top of the mic, which is nice. I am using, I started this whole thing with audio with a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, which I quickly decided I didn't care for that much, but because the audio quality isn't fantastic, but I do use it just to route audio from my second computer into the Flow 8. So this computer, the content computer, is connected to the Focusrite, which then brings it into the Behringer Flow 8. And the last thing I wanted to mention is, I should mention, this is a Rode Go 2. I actually got this for my daughter's bat mitzvah for her to wear, which we ended up not having yet. It's going to happen later. But this is, and I'm still playing with this, but it's nice. And I don't have to worry about being close to the mic, not being close to the mic. It allows me to move around. The sound quality, even with this, still isn't quite as good as the high LPR 40. There's just something about having a big mic, with and good proximity to it. As far as, sorry, that was the doorbell. As far as making sure that with mics and all this other stuff that the audio sounds good, I've done a couple things, not a lot. I've done a couple things to the room. So one is I bought myself a carpet. I just went to Home Depot and I got myself, what is this, like 5x7? I put it down. That absorbs some of the sound. I also put some of these sound absorption, whatchamacallits, up, just a few, just to grab some of the sound. This is a big room with very high ceilings. If I really wanted to do this right, I would have a lot more sound treatment, but I don't, so I don't. All right, let's talk about, so that was audio. So we did connectivity, we did audio. Let's talk about lighting. Again, I've gone a little off the deep end with the lighting. I started with 2 Elgato key lights, one there and one there. And here's what I love about these. What I love about these, actually, let me see that way. Oh, it's not high enough. Let me make it a little higher so you can see a little better. You still can't see. Oh, well, I thought you'd be able to see the lights in there. Here's why I like these. I like these for a few reasons. First of all, they're really customizable. You can customize, do you want blue light? Do you want yellow light? How bright do you want them? I love that they attach right to my desks. Let me show you this. It's just, everything just attaches right to the desk with these little clamps on here. Here's this is another Elgato clamp over here. And then I've got this light clamped on right back there. So they just go up and down with my desk, which is fantastic. I can control them with an app. I can control them with my computer. I can control them with my Stream Deck. The same company, Elgato, makes the Stream Deck that makes these lights. There is a key light, what do they call it? Nano? No. the Key Light Air, which is smaller and cheaper. I got these. I've been very, very happy with them. Behind me, for my hair light, I've got just a bulb that I bought at, I think, Home Depot, and I just put it on one of those desk arms. So I just have that bulb there. And then I've just got some, accent lighting around. This is my rock and roll rabbi sign that my daughter got me. I've got some, you can see a little blue up there, some string lights. I have a little pavo tube down there. And then I have this light over here and another light there, just brightening up the back a little bit. But essentially, for all intents and purposes, I've done 3-point lighting here. I've got a key light, a fill light, and a hair light behind me. That's pretty much it for lighting. All right, let's talk video. So I'm using a Sony a6400, which is a fantastic little camera. Now, it's going to be hard for me to show it to you, but I'll try. It's back there. So now we're going to get to this teleprompter thing. So I've got my camera mounted on this Manfrotto variable friction arm, which, by the way, is a fantastic arm. If you're looking for an amazing mount, the Manfrotto variable friction arm. So I've got my camera there mounted on this glide gear teleprompter, and this is where that other monitor that I mentioned before sits, right? So I've got this in here. So my camera's right behind the teleprompter. I did a whole video on this. I'm not going to do it again, but that's where my main camera is, and I'm using a Sigma 1.4 60 millimeter lens, which is, I don't know anything about lenses or cameras for that matter, but this is a really nice lens, and it gives that nice little bokeh, the softening behind me. It just went out of focus. But by the way, Sony's are really good at autofocus. So if I do turn around, it will change focus. But then when I come back, it'll find me pretty quickly. But I like that soft bokeh effect that it gives me in the background. I also have over here a Sony ZV1. This is an overhead cam, which right now is not hooked up because I'm waiting for, it's actually coming today. I'm waiting for a mount that'll allow me to very quickly pull this over. But I just have this on a little articulating arm so I can pull it out. And if I want to show something on my desk, I can just angle it down. Or if I have other people in the room, that's it. The Sony ZV1, a nice, simple little camera. Back here, I've got the very first camera I bought, which is a Panasonic, what is that, a HCV770. It's basically just a camcorder. And it's fine. It's not great. It's fine. That's my behind-the-scenes shot, if I want to do that. And this is just my daughter's old iPhone. It's an iPhone 6, I think. And what I did is I took this and an old Apple TV, and I connected it wirelessly, so now I can show you everything without having to be plugged in. Now, all of these cameras are running into what's called an Atem Mini. That's this guy right down here. This is an Atem Mini. I have the cheapest version. It's a couple $100. And the Atem Mini, basically, I've got 4 cameras, so you can see there's one camera. The second camera isn't turned on. That's the ZV1. There's my back camera, and there's the phone camera. And I was just pressing these buttons. What this does is it basically allows you to bring in multiple cameras into your computer without using all of your computer's power to manage all of that, right? All of the switching, all of the encoding happens right here on the Atem Mini, so my computer doesn't have to worry about that. All right. I only got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to keep going. How are these two? Would the clamp for the key light fit over a beveled desk edge? Yeah, so it does. It fits over. So my desk edges are beveled, but let me actually show you what I did. So I was worried. The key lights fit perfectly. I don't worry about this at all. For my mic arm, what I did is I actually went to Home Depot and I got just a metal bracket, and I actually screwed it into the desk to create a straight line, and then I put the mount on that. Sorry, my camera was too low. So I have this little straight metal thing, and I just put it right there. But my key lights are on a beveled edge, and I don't have any problem with them at all. Great question. Great question. All right. So how do I get my content computer to show up in, like right now, I'm looking at, these are my notes of all these things that I'm telling you about. So How am I getting this into my main computer? Well, that's happening through using a cam link. So a cam link is kind of like the Atem Mini, but it's a little tiny, and it basically takes an HDMI out from your computer and turns it into a USB in to your other computer. So by doing that, my streaming computer sees my content computer like a camera, and then I can bring it into the software that I use and do funky scenes like that one or this or any of these. You get the idea. All right. I also have, mostly because I have serious issues, I've got a couple other cameras lying around here that I use sometimes. This is my OBSBot, which I love, this little tiny PTZ camera. I have this connected to my content computer, so if I ever want to show what something looks like in Zoom, I might pull up Zoom actually on this computer, my content computer, and then bring it into my other computer. And way up there on the light, you can't see it, I've got the center cam, which I put there because I don't know what else to do with it. All right. Now, how does all this stuff come together? How do all these video sources come together? That, my friends, is Ecamm fam. That is Ecamm. That's the software that I use. It is just the most powerful software. I think you're able to see it now. It looks like you are. You can see I've got all these scenes, overlays, camera effects. I do all my camera switching in here. It's just fantastic. Ecamm. If you want more information about Ecamm, go to torahtecheye.com/Ecamm. All right. Last thing, guys. Background. So we talked a little bit about the lighting and the Rock and Roll Rabbi sign that I have there. I have, you see over my shoulder, you see that flickering guitar? So that's actually that's a guitar. That's like a what do you call it? I don't know if you can see it any better. Is that any better? Yeah. So it's just like a light up guitar. But this is actually an example. This is a great example of how you have to be careful with lighting, because it's not actually flickering in real life. But on video, it flickers. Certain lights, if they're not, sorry, I didn't mean to touch my mic. If they're not the right kind of light for video, you'll get that flickering. I'm lucky that the Rock and Roll Rabbi sign doesn't flicker like that. And the other lights I have in here are meant for production, so I don't have to worry about it so much. But that's something to bear in mind if you're putting lights behind you, that flicker. Obviously, you can see the shelves. The most important part about my background is the space that I have between me and the background. So I'm about, I don't know, 4 feet, 3 feet, 3.5 feet maybe from my camera, but there's a good 8 to 10 feet behind me between me and my background. And that, if you want a nice soft bokeh effect, that kind of blurred background, that's what you want to do. You want to keep that space. So that's kind of everything, folks. I've got the stand-sit desk. I've got the 2 computers, the monitors, the hubs so I can plug everything in, the stream decks, which are just invaluable. For audio, I've got my Heil PR40 mic and this little mixer that I use to get that into the computer. My inner monitors, really important to have inner monitors or headphones or something. And then if I need to, I've got the Rode Go 2 here that I can use. And a little sound treatment, right? Some carpet, some things on the walls. For lighting, 3-point lighting, key light, fill light, hair light. And then for cameras, I've got the Sony A6400 and the ZV1, which is what I really use mostly. Both of those are Sony cameras. And then my Atem Mini is how I switch all of those. And then bringing that second computer into the first using the cam link. And then the background. Here's one of the takeaways I'd like you to hold on to. Take the computers out of the equation, right? Let's say you already have a computer. Everything that I've shown you, literally everything I've shown you, is probably under $5,000. You don't need to spend an arm and a leg to have a really nice setup and to have a lot of tools that really help you be successful in sharing your Torah. Now I feel like I maybe will need to do a follow-up to this to talk a little bit more about how I use these, but hopefully you get a sense of why I have all these different pieces and how they all fit together. It's a lot. It took a lot of time for me to get this ecosystem working the way I want. I'm terrified of changing even one thing because I'm terrified it will break the entire ecosystem. But it works. And because I put the time in, I'm able to share in very dynamic and engaging ways, I think, my Torah. And that's what this is all about. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to invite you to head on over to TorahTechGuy.com. You can learn more, subscribe to these videos. I got another video coming up tomorrow. I just went out of focus. Come back, Sony. Come back. Focus on me. There we go. I'm coming back tomorrow with another video. More coming up next week. Rabbi Tobias Moss will be my guest next Monday on The Future is Starting Now. And I am going to stop talking because that's enough. Have the most amazing, wonderful day, everybody. See you later. Bye, Jason. Good to see you here. Bye, guys.